Guys, Marsinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at our boy Super Saiyan 4 VEGITO. He is going to be getting his EZA this year with the Heroes Celebration, so we are only about 2 weeks away now from that coming to the game. Probably be a little while till we find out the details. I was having a look earlier on the stream today, and it seems like last year we only got the details for most of the units, like literally a couple of days before the celebration actually started, so we'll have to wait and see. But I thought we would take him into an event and see how we get on, considering we do have the newly released Super Saiyan 4 LR Goku to run him with. We are going into Fusion Zamasu, which is going to be very interesting. Obviously this guy does have the chance to counter a super. He does have type advantage, but not exactly the best situation for him. So I mean, you can see here he shares 4 links with Goku, Super Saiyan, Saiyan Raw, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle. Pretty decent in terms of the links. Saiyan Raw obviously very good for like the extra defense and everything. But he's starting the turn at 143k. So remember that Zamasu does like 500k damage AoEs. Now we do have type advantage. And we do have a Whis active because this is turn 2. We also lost a bunch of health on turn 1 because even with the Whis active, we have STR, the 5th year Gogeta, on the team, so he still took a pretty decent chunk of damage from the AoE. But we'll see how we get on here. So just to refresh everybody's memory for the Super Saiyan 4 VEGITO, he raises defense for 1 turn on Super, does immense damage to the enemy. He gets 140% attack and defense at the start of turn. Then he gives crossover allies 1 key and 20% attack and defense. Giant 8 power, 1 key and 20% attack and defense. So he's giving that to Goku and the LR Super Saiyan 4s on this rotation, which is cool. And he has a high chance to counter enemy super attacks. Now, unfortunately, Zamasu does have the habit of super attacking in slot 1. It would be pretty cool to see how much damage, see if he could actually counter a super here in slot 2. But I guess we'll see how we go. The AoE, we do have an item active, so he still takes 37k. Now, bear in mind, that's with a Whis and the Icarus support memory up. He still takes 37k. Now, post EZA, I would imagine that's easily going to be double digits, regardless of what they give him for his EZA. But you would hope so, right, when you've got a Whis active. Now, he does get the raised defense on Super for 1 turn, right? And he's a support unit. I don't think he's ever really designed to be a slot 1 unit. So even with his EZA, I'm not expecting him to be super crazy in slot 1. But, you know, we'll see. 4 million on the attack stat, nothing crazy. Well, he still doesn't tank for double digits after supering. That's interesting. And he didn't counter the super. Wow. What a great start for... Great start for the showcase here. 200k on the super. I mean, even with a Whis active, there are units that will take more than that. But I mean, that's largely because of his type advantage as well, right? As well as the Whis active, of course. Raising defense on super is very beneficial, but yeah, I wonder if in terms of when it comes to his EZA, something like greatly raised defense instead of the normal raise would obviously be very good. With all the new Super Saiyan 4s that we're getting with Heroes, and obviously this new Goku, it would be cool for him to be a really solid slot 3 floating support unit for those giant 8 power allies. But if he was powerful enough to be run on main rotation, this rotation of him and Goku together could unironically be quite good. Now, the problem that we're going to have here is the AoE in slot 1 is just always such a pain. These guys did super attack a bunch on the first turn, so they do have their damage reduction, but I don't think it's I don't think it will be enough. We'll see. So we'll grab all of these. That'll give us a pretty decent heal there. No orbs for the Super Saiyan 4s though. Should I just transform them and just get the... Problem is, if I transform them, we basically know for a fact that GT Vegeta just gets killed by the AoE. So let me do this, because I don't want to use an item. I wanted to see Vegito without an item active if possible, but obviously we may just die here to the AoEs on this turn. I mean, these guys take in 60k slot 1, and then Whis doesn't dodge, so yeah. Alright, well, we'll see if we can get Vegito on turn 1, because I didn't want to have to use an item straight away, but we didn't have him until turn 2. Okay, well, good old 5 attempts per day. I literally could not get an attempt where he was in on the first turn. In fact, on 2 of them, he was in slot 7. So we're going to jump into the Vegito stage instead, or sorry, Zamasu stage, I should say, which obviously is considerably easier, but should still be pretty decent for our boy. Funnily enough, he actually has more links with Gogeta, but I do want to float off Gogeta because obviously getting him back on turn 4 and getting the transformation. So we only have Prepared for Battle and Fierce Battle, which means we only have 145k defense, which is not a lot at all. We are going to get 30% on super from the super attack effect, which of course is only going to put us up to, what, just under 200k? So, I mean, he'll take damage from a normal attack here. The ideal scenario, of course, is that Zamasu does actually super in slot 1 and Vegito counters. But, of course, being a Super Saiyan 4, like a turn without a Super Saiyan 4 ally for him is obviously quite bad. So, yeah, him taking over 100k from normal attacks. I mean, this would be a great rotation. Again, like post-EZA, we still, as I say, don't know what he's going to do. But as long as they make his EZA good, I mean, the heroes' EZAs are usually some of the stronger parts of the celebration. Like, even last year, when people had a lot of complaints about, like, the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s, and even Hearts. Hearts is a good unit, obviously has some issues in his design as well, especially with restricting some of his abilities, right, to, like, a full extreme team and stuff like that. But the EZAs were quite strong and still very useful. Like, some of the units, like Sealess, even now, I think is still very good. Great Saiyan Man 3, as long as he's not getting hit by supers, can still be very good. So the EZAs are usually pretty strong. So I'm just really excited to see what Vegito is going to do. Because in a situation like this, where we have him on the turn and he's in slot 1, there's no attacks coming his way, you would assume, as long as they do a good job, that post-super attack he's tanking these attacks for double digits, especially in a situation like this where he does actually have type advantage. So let's see. I want to do this just so I can get all of these orbs for Weirus, so that he gets all of his buffs as well as his dodge and everything. And then we'll do this. Now it's interesting that both Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegito are on the 200% lead for the LR Super Saiyan 4s, because obviously they lead Fused Fighters and GT heroes. Because, you know, and most of the other heroes, well, all of the other heroes Super Saiyan 4s are not on the GT, the LR Super Saiyan 4's team, because they're not GT heroes, and they're not Fused Fighters apart from Vegito. So that means, of course, Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito will be on these guys' 200% team, as long as he's on the Kamehameha category, which, you know, as long as he has some form of the Kamehameha, he will be. But we don't know, because remember, this Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, he does the Spirit Sword as his super attack, the Kamehameha is his counter. So if the Limit Breaker Vegito has a Spirit Sword super attack and then doesn't have a counter, then obviously he won't be on the Kamehameha category. So that is something to bear in mind. Goku shouldn't kill him, should he? So we do put you in slot 2 here, and then we can do this. I like the fact, of course, like the other Super Saiyan 4s, even if they're not heroes, are getting this buff from Vegito being on the rotation, so I think that's pretty good. We'll see if we can get lucky here. Ideally, I would like, for the course of the entire video, for Vegito to actually get a super attack counter, but obviously with no scouter on the team, any reliable way to know where the super attack is, there's not really anything I can do about that, right? 309k, damn. Yeah, my Super Saiyan 4 Goku obviously is 55%. I made the video about it the other day, but like in these newer stages, he definitely can still get hit, you know, pretty hard. We did get the double super here though, and we have Saiyan Raw active now. Still 87k. I mean, you gotta remember, because he doesn't have his EZA, he is quite a few years old at this point. So, I mean, that's not terrible. Obviously, it would be considerably more if he didn't have type advantage, which means the next phase against Rose and Zamasu is going to be pretty awkward for him. It's one of those things where he would still be somewhat usable if you could get lucky. Like, if that one attack in the middle was a super and he countered it, because, I mean, he does only have a 50% chance. Very interesting to see if they'll increase that with his EZA. I want to guess probably not. Right, like they've still kept Tech Gogeta as the only one that has a 70% chance, but it would be pretty awesome if they put his counter up to 70%. But let's see, so we can do this for you. You've got the 100%. I mean, we just win this turn anyway. I didn't even really need to fuse because we're going to just kill him this turn because of the Gogeta not being able to take damage. And obviously Zamasu doesn't do AoEs in this stage. So Gogeta should just finish him off here. But yeah, so his super attack counter, the ideal scenario, like I say, on that previous turn, if he'd got supered and countered, that was the only attack he was taking for the whole turn. So then he wouldn't have taken any damage that turn. The problem obviously comes in is that's very good RNG with the enemy super attack placements. So if we get a run where, you know, there's like 3 attacks in every slot and he doesn't have type advantage over them, then you're in trouble, right? So, I mean, we're going to see on this next rotation what we're looking like here. Goku obviously going to be good in slot 1 because of the type advantage. Still doesn't have the ability to use the standby yet, though. Obviously, we're going to unlock it after this turn because he's about to get hit a whole bunch of times. And then Vegito in the middle here. I mean, it's a bit scary, I will say. What's he at? So he's at 160. Yeah, he only goes up to just below 200k after a super attack. So, I mean, to survive, realistically, to survive the turn, I have to Whis here. And then he should hopefully survive normal attacks. And then maybe we could get to see a super attack counter here. But with so many attacks in slot 1, yeah, there you go. So many attacks in slot 1, of course, Goku takes the super. Obviously, he takes double digits because we've got the stacks from the previous turn. We've also got the Whis. So, I mean, in slot 1, in just the base Super Saiyan 4, with a Whis on top, he's got like 80% damage reduction. So, but let's see. 342k with a Whis. So, I mean, there you go. I was torn between when doing the Super Saiyan 4 Vegito showcase, like for today, to just talk about him and his upcoming EZA, whether or not to take him into like a much easier event where we could see him do a whole bunch of things. But I wanted to try him out in the current meta, but obviously it's not really his thing. So, yeah. Okay, so to end the video off, I jumped into the Red Zone Frieza event because I thought if there's one place where I could probably get to see Vegito's super attack counter, it'll be against an enemy that does an AoE super. So I just wanted to get this in here just for it to be in the video. I mean, I'm not gonna prove anything to beat this event with Vegito on the team because it's not exactly the hardest event in the world. But there you go. There's that super attack counter. The animation is pretty cool compared to some of the other super attack counters. So I am hoping that the new Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito gets a super attack counter as well. That should make him a pretty good unit overall. Obviously, we need to see his kit, but we know he has an active skill. And then having a super counter as well, like, as long as they don't fumble the rest of his actual, you know, his passive, the most important part, he definitely could be an interesting unit. Like, imagine they give him along the lines of some of the stuff we've seen before, where, like, his active skill has an action break or makes him like guaranteed crits. That would actually be a pretty crazy combo. If his active skill makes him guaranteed crit for the turn, if it is an active skill attack, that would mean that if he then counters a super on that turn, the super counter would be a guaranteed crit as well. So that might be asking for a bit much, I don't know. But when it comes to Super Saiyan 4 Vegito himself, he certainly is a unit that was very fun when he first came out. You could maybe get some use out of him in some stages now that are like not the newest, hardest stages. But I guess the problem is you're not really going to have any real opportunity or need to use him until they start bringing out, you know, stages like missions, for example, to do like Giant 8 power or something like that on a particular stage. Because, I mean, being a Heroes character, he's on like Patara, Fused Fighters, Kamehameha, which, I mean, those are bigger, more popular categories that could quite easily get missions added to the game. But, you know, maybe for the Heroes Celebration, that would be quite a good idea, actually. We do like it when they add these missions to a bunch of the other events. Imagine they add a beat the event with a Dragon Ball Heroes team for like a whole bunch of the events in the game, even the more difficult ones, right? Because obviously the newer units are coming out and the older units are getting their EZAs. I would actually really like to see that if they added missions to just make it like all the tough bosses, right? I mean, Fusion Zamasu, I guess it depends how good the new Heroes units are, but imagine we get missions for like Broly, Metal Cooler Core, obviously Omega, Cell Max, I suppose would be the Red Ribbon Army one. add missions to all of those to beat them with like a full heroes team or something. And then, yeah, it would be pretty cool to see these guys coming back. But obviously, until the hero celebration, Vegito, he's just kind of there, you know. 3.5 million attack stat, not bad. This Frieza obviously only does double-digit damage to him, but he's a pretty easy boss nowadays. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you want to see from Super Saiyan 4 Vegito's EZA? If you could design the EZA yourself, let me know what you would do down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.